Butler State Park is open. We currently have 206 people that has been relocated to General Butler State Park along with the staff. We have room for approximately 30 additional residents should the need arise. Camp Kysock, located on 36 here in the limits of Carrollton, we have 75 residents that has been relocated to that location, plus the staff. Any additional, should those facilities become filled to capacity, we have an additional location at this time that we will utilize the Carroll County Fairgrounds. Should anybody need shelter in the Carroll County area, we encourage you to dial 502-732-7060. And that is for shelter only. Should you have an emergency, still by all means dial 911. If you need the local police, it's 732-6621. We'll get you in touch with the Carrollton Police Station. There has been within the Carroll County community, there has been an evacuation mandated in the Carroll County for some areas. Those areas include Prestonsville, which is currently at 70 to 80% evacuated. Greens Bottom area, which is currently at 80% evacuated. Happy Hollow, which is currently at 50% evacuated. The Blue Lick community, which is at 100% evacuated. Lock Number 1 Road is 100% evacuated, and Lower Mason Street is at 100% evacuated. And those are the mandated areas of evacuation at this time. We also have several road closure listings for Carroll County, and those include the following within the city limits of Carrollton. All of Point Park is closed. 2nd Street is closed in the limits of Carrollton. Water Street is closed, and Mason Street in the 400 block is closed. On the west side of the county, including the Prestonsville area, at Hampton Lane is closed. Notch Lick is currently closed. US 42 at 36 is closed. Old Carlisle Road, Kentucky 55 at 389, Kentucky 55 at Mound Hill Road, Lock Number 1 Road, 389 at the English Railroad Tracks, Kentucky 389 in the 1000 block, and Old Gilgal Road at Sheehan Road. Mill Creek is currently closed, and Carlisle Road in the 3000 block is currently closed. On the east side of the county, which includes Worthville and Sanders, Goose Creek at Kentucky 227 is closed. Goose Creek at South Kendall Road, Highway 467 at Buffalo Creek Road, Highway 467 at Jackson Ridge Road, Kentucky 36 East in the 14,000 block, the Happy Hollow area, all of that is closed. Lewis Road in Gent is closed, and Black Rock Road in Gent is closed as well. We would ask the leadership of the county would ask that we ask and encourage prayers for the residents and the first responders in the Carrollton community, but not only the Carrollton community, but those affected across the state and those affected across the nation that has been impacted by this extreme weather event. It's impacted much more than our community, although our community has been devastated. And I'll try to take any questions that might be relevant to the city police and the city limits.
Address what seems to be potentially miscommunication about the 10 gates opening at Dick's Dam.
I would not be able to answer that. That would be, I don't know if there's anyone in the room that can answer that. I know there is. I am familiar that there was some gates open, but I'm not familiar with that situation.
What have first responders primarily been focused on right now?
The first responders has been focused up to this point of making sure that these mandated evacuation areas are as evacuated as we can get them. We can't force people to leave their residence, but we have been in all these areas and strongly encourage that. With the understanding to these residents that it is possible, once these floodwaters continue to rise, that we may or may not be able to get back in there to perform a rescue. Also, we have, I think, and the EMA director will speak more to that, but I think we have had 2 water rescues, people that's been rescued from their homes.
I believe you, yesterday, Mayor Adams said that they'll be taking down the names of people who choose not to leave their homes. Have you guys done that yet, or will be doing that?
That would be more for the EMA director to speak to. I'm not sure of that.
Anything else important that you feel that you would like people to know from your point of view, from what your agency is doing right now?
No, I would encourage people that are in these areas that hasn't evacuated to do so. Because again, I want to reiterate, once the water continues to rise, and we believe it is going to continue to rise, then we may or may not be able to get in there to rescue people. And if so, and if we've got a large number of people needing rescued, then we can't rescue everybody at once with limited first responders. So I would encourage everybody that can to evacuate right now. We have plenty shelter area, as we just talked about. Call that number that I gave out and have them set you up in a place where you're safe till the waters recede. And that number again is 502-732-7060.
How novel is a mandatory evacuation for this community? Can you remember a time in recent history where there has been a mandatory evacuation order?
I would not be the best to speak to that. Maybe the county judge's office or the mayor's might be able to recall that more than I would. Is there any other questions directly for me in the city?
Will you guys be speaking as well?
I'll speak for just a minute.
Mike, which one do y'all want to go first?
Yeah, it's fine.
This is Mike Humphrey. He's the deputy county judge executive for the county.
How are you all this morning? All right. First, I want to thank you all for coming. I also want to let you all understand that all of our departments, there's too many of them for us to name, but our utilities, KU, emergency management, fire, the city, the county, we're all working good together. Things have been pretty smooth. Things that we've had little issues with, we've been able to take care of pretty quickly. There are some people, I think today, we're going to be sending back to Sanders. We evacuated the nursing home out there early in this process, especially when we got some of the reports. Well, this was actually before we got the reports of the dam, because in '97, I think that was the last time that there may have been an emergency evacuation signed. It was 1997. I actually was the jailer back then, and we worked through that for about 3 months trying to clean up around here. But I want to thank all of our people that are working together, because we've really done an amazing job to get done what we've done. I did sign those orders. I signed those orders off the information that we received in our department and made those decisions because we wanted to be ahead of the game and not behind the game. We don't want to go out and do water rescues. We would rather, hopefully it doesn't get to them, but if it does, we didn't want to have to go out and do that kind of work because we are shorthanded. The next person I think is going to speak is our emergency management, and he got hired a week and a half ago. So he kind of got thrown into all this. But we've also had Alex, which is our district emergency management person, here with us this whole time. So that's been a big help for us as well. But like I said, Dave has said, we're not for sure. We're expecting maybe 2 more foot of water. So, we want people to be cautious. And like I said, if we got to go get 50 people out of the areas, we may not have enough staffing to be able to get out to get all 50 at one time. So that's why we've asked people to leave. Any questions? That's all I had to say.
Are we able to address the miscommunication with the Dix Dam?
All I'm gonna say to that is it was relayed to us about Dix Dam, and I did a conference thing or on the Facebook, and whatever that says, that's where I'll stick at, because that's what we was told. I We was told by emergency management, but beyond that, I can't say where it come from.
Can you sort of give us some of those fresh details and correct the record? What exactly happened? Was this a procedural thing?
We don't know. We have no idea. We have no idea.
But you can confirm that 10 gates were opened and,
I can't confirm that. I'm just taking what we was told from was it the state emergency management contacted these guys, told us something, and that's what we took as our information, and we proceeded with our information to do what we did here in our county. And just to let you know, I'm not trying to, our judge had a cruise. He's out on a cruise. I don't know if he knows everything that's going on right now, but that's where he's at. That's why he's not here at this time.
Does that change response at all now with this new information, change how you approach anything, or really?
Yeah, that's one reason, with some of the information we received this morning, that's one reason we're going to relocate the people from the nursing home back to Sanders in the nursing home. We don't feel that that's a threat to them anymore. In 1997, I was there. We had to go in the water above our knees with buses and stuff to get those people out. Actually, we was taking smaller vehicles in to get them out to the buses because the buses couldn't get there because we actually had to drive down the railroad tracks and get off in somebody's driveway to get back to them. So that was done on precautionary period. That's what we did it for. We just didn't want to be in that situation at 4 o'clock in the morning trying to evacuate them, so we did it earlier. I thank you. Yep, I believe so. Thank you all.
Thank you.
and just briefly, your first and last name.
I'm sorry, Michael Humphrey, Deputy Judge Executive, Carroll County, part-time. And he's been this week.
All right. Michael Ratliff, first name spelling Michael. Last name is Ratliff, Ratliff. I am the Carroll County Emergency Management and EMS Director. So I'm going to brief on the operations that we've had going on. The fire department has been handling water rescues in our county. We had 3 that we were dispatched out to. The first one, we had 2 people that were rescued. They were evaluated by EMS but did not want transport or anything, so they were not needed. The other 2 they arrived to the calls and were not required to do anything. The people had self-extricated or gotten out of the situation, so wasn't really necessarily needed at that time. So then we currently have 4 rescue boats available right now, and we have 15 firefighters with Gent Fire Department, West Side Fire Department, and Carrollton Fire Department all staffing them, and swiftwater trained, water rescue trained to manage that. We also have 3 EMS crews available to staff and handle any kind of emergencies that we have going out. Because of the west side of the county, we have a lot of this blocked off. Trimble County EMS is giving us some support on that side, mutual aid, to respond to calls on the west side of the county, and we greatly appreciate their assistance in helping us with that. They put on an extra ambulance to even assist us with this, so that's greatly appreciated for them doing that. Then on top of that, we have multiple agencies who have reached out offering assistance to us throughout the days, last couple of days, and we greatly appreciate all that. But so far we've managed to operate and get through everything on our own. And again, kind of what Mike said, I want to say thank you to everyone who has worked so hard this week, the first responders, the city and the county government for all the support they've given us. Pretty much anything that we needed, they were on top of it and moving along good. The state EMA for supporting us and having that there to help us, especially me being new, that helped a lot. The volunteers and the personnel helping to man the EOC here, it's been amazing to see everybody work together, and the dedication and time and the concern for the community is amazing. It shows that our community can really come together and work really just amazing. That's the only words I know to say. And then prayers for the community, please, and continue throughout the period of time, however long this goes, please.
Anybody you've had to rescue so far that maybe didn't evacuate in time or anything to that?
Not yet. So far, so good on that, and hopefully that stays away. Hopefully we've gotten the word out there and trying to get people out, and so far that's worked. And we had people out trying to, officers and stuff were getting out. I think they even got on the PA systems, and we were just doing everything we could to alert everybody, of course, the social media and everything, to try to get people aware and get them out. And again, we started early on to try to get people out and keep people as safe as we could. So,
What's your message to folks who might be on the fence about evacuating their homes?
just don't take a chance with it. If the water's close, get out. I mean, there's no sense in taking a chance on it. We've got the shelters there. We just don't want to take a chance on having to go in and having to do a rescue if we can keep from it. It's as much about their safety as about our rescuers' safety as well. With the temperatures going to drop tonight to 20s, as well as, the temperatures, the water and everything, it's just, for safety purposes, you're best not even to take that chance. And we don't want to put our responders in harm's way if we can keep from that. But, they're there and ready to go if we need them.
I know we went through quite a large list of road closures and some of those evacuation areas, but just from your recollection, what are some of the most impacted areas where you could see potentially homes or businesses submerged underwater?
I would say probably Prestonville is probably our largest impacted area. And then beyond that would probably be Happy Hollow, I think would be the second area that would be the most impacted after that.
Putting into perspective of other flooding events, where does this measure up in response?
It's kind of hard to say.
So it might be hard for you to.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of hard for me to say. Yeah, I'll just say, not really sure. I'll kind of refer that. Maybe if someone else has a comment to that.
Not near,
Sorry.
not near as bad as 97, but.
Right.
Okay, but what was it, what year was it we had here just recently?
18?
Close to
Okay.
maybe 18.
So, 2018, so.
Okay, I know we've harped on it a lot, but we've been getting a lot of questions about the dam. Anything you can add to that, any information, just to clarify for people kind of what happens?
I'm going to go with no comment on this because there's so much confusion on it, and I'm just going to kind of let that one go for right now. We're not 100% sure. I know what we were told, but I'm just going to let that would be with no comment on that, okay?
Can you refer us to anyone who might be able to give us some of those accurate details?
I'll be glad to speak on
Do we
that.
see that?
I'll speak on that.
Thank you.
The last question I have is, you've got so many tight-knit communities here in Carroll County.
Mhm.
Have you seen any, community members helping in ways, or if there are
Oh, yeah.
community members that want to help, are there any ways that they can?
Absolutely. We've had people reaching out to us from all the communities offering assistance in multiple different ways, whether it's offering backhoes, different types of equipment, offering to come in and just volunteer to help us with different types of things. Again, the community itself has come together greatly to help everybody. And it's been amazing. It really has. It's greatly appreciated for us as responders, and I'm sure from the politicians and everybody involved. It's amazing. And I had the senator reach out last night and calling to check on us and stuff, Senator Williams, and he was checking us to see if we needed anything and everything. So that was appreciated as well. So.
Do you know, have you ever had any situations as far as power or utilities having to be cut due to flooding yet?
Yes, we have had some power that had to be cut. Some areas that maybe we found that maybe the flooding is maybe not going to be as bad. I think we're going to maybe try to get that restored possibly, just due to the fact of the cold, and we may still have some residents who did not evacuate like we had originally wanted them to.
Yeah, is there
I don't think it'll ice over. I mean, I guess it could be a possibility, smaller puddles or something, but not the main waters. I don't think that would be an issue. It would take a longer period of time for that to happen, I would believe, so. Right. All right, thank you.
I'm the mayor of Carrollton, Rob, R-O-B-B, Adams, A-D-A-M-S. So the questions revolving around the controversy yesterday of a video that I put out referencing some impact from Dick's Dam in Mercer County out of Harrington Lake. That video was put out on a follow-up call and information that we received into the Emergency Operations Center yesterday at about 11 a.m. From Kentucky Emergency Management, and it was a live Zoom call, and that information relayed to us seemed to be in an extreme sense of urgency coming to us from Emergency Management, that 10 gates had been accidentally opened, and the impact downstream of that particular body of water would be impacted in a greater manner than we originally thought and what we had planned for and what we had expected to receive level-wise. Approximately 3 hours later, we got notification from the State Emergency Management of a correction that 10 gates had been opened, but it was not accidental. I think we have confirmed since then that 10 gates were in fact open and was planned. It was a planned release, and that was done on this past Friday. I think at this point we have not been able to verify where the breakdown in communications originated. Was it at the dam and personnel that opened or at the dam and the personnel that opened the gates, planned or not? And that information relayed to Kentucky Emergency Management and down to local communities. There's obviously a breakdown, and we're certainly not here today to point fingers on where the breakdown was. I do expect that will be dove into at a later date to try to keep from this happening again. As a local officials, we have an obligation to our constituents to act on any information that we have and not sit on it, especially when it comes to a storm event, any weather-related event, flood that can impact life. And we acted on that, and we acted on that with the same sense of urgency that it was relayed to us from Kentucky Emergency Management to our local emergency management folks. And that's why we did that. At the end of the day, I don't think the end result changed, whether it was accidental or planned. I think it did send us water downstream that we had not originally expected, which in turn prompted the emergency mandatory evacuations that they have spoke on. So I also understand that when they referenced that information in the call coming out of the Kentucky Emergency Management yesterday at about 11 a.m., that they referenced water levels in Lockport. If you know anything about Lockport, it's in Henry County. We're in Carroll. Lockport's in Henry. They referenced water levels at lock number 3 in Monterey, which is Owen County. So it seemed obvious to me that it was going to be impacted all along the Kentucky River corridor, everybody from the dam downstream. I'm also aware of a video, and I've spoken with the county judge in Franklin County since the videos were posted, and his video was posted, that they are saying their impact did not change from gates being opened or not, accidental or not, and when they were opened. It did not impact anything in Frankfort. I can't speak on his impact, but I know here it impacted us again, regardless of why and how it happened, it did impact us, and we prepared for that. So at the end of the day, all we were doing was what we were elected to do, and to take care of our local people and our residents and pass along information, and we passed it along accurately. About 4 hours later, 3 to 4 hour window time frame later, is when we got updated information from the same source, and we put out another video correcting it with updating it. So all we've done along the way is pass along what we had, and that's we have to rely on those sources. We don't know what's going on upstream, and everything we pass along comes from Kentucky Emergency Management. It comes from reports at Markland Dam. It comes from National Weather Service. That's not our expertise, so all we do is pass that along. So.
Now, is the emergency, is that still in effect, the emergency evacuation, or did that go away once you got that new information, the evacuation order?
Those emergency evacuations were relayed as they spoke on, and everybody that wanted to evacuate under that emergency mandatory order was evacuated, and some chose to stay, and that's what they spoke on about. If you choose to stay, what that looks like for you.
And how long is that evacuation order in place for?
I would expect that, so we're expecting right now, given the predictions that we watch at Markland Dam and the Kentucky River predictions, that we're expected somewhere between the 1 and 2 foot mark on the Kentucky River, still here locally in Carroll County, and the Ohio River, we're expecting 2 more feet. Once that crest, we'll know where the water is, right? I mean, that's going to be the level, so we will probably stop at that point. The danger of anyone that's not impacted being impacted from that point on will be over with. But we will continue to monitor that throughout these next couple feet of rises, and if we see someone that looks like they may be impacted that's currently not but will be, we'll be back in touch with them to, again, strongly urge those individuals to evacuate.
And then you guys are expecting to press tomorrow?
I can't remember that exact timeline on the dates, but and times, but I think it's within the next 24 hours. Well, I think we do expect that.
And it's a unique situation where you have the Kentucky River and Ohio River.
It is.
Both meeting here, how does that compound?
Well, it impacts, if you live on the Kentucky River corridor, you're only worried about the Kentucky River. If you were on the Ohio, you only worry about the Ohio. It does impact us a little different, and what happens on the Ohio sometimes affects the Kentucky. Whether there's more water coming, it holds it back, trying to get it out. So if we get to levels this year that we got to in 97, the level end result will be the same, but how it impacted and how it came up, it can be impacted and act a little different. So, yeah.
Anything else you would like to add?
You mentioned 97, I guess just looking historically, I mean, how was your community feeling when you've been speaking with your constituents? What's the response been?
I mean, it's hard. It's hard for them. Some of them were here in 97 and live in the same place they lived then, so they know what to expect. This particular flood is currently projected, Ohio River-wise, to crest 1.5 feet below 97. So, I mean, it's right there. So, a lot of those same people have been affected. Our concern was this information coming out of Dick's Dam and what we had been told it could do and what to prepare for was the individuals that wrote it out, so to speak, in 97 and will tell you, we've been there, I've been through this, we're going to wait it out. We didn't know that the same, it was going to react the same, but I don't know that it's reacted a lot different from 97. So there are, it's going to be right within the totals of within 1.5 feet. So a lot of them have been through it before, so they're tough. We got a lot of community support.
I was gonna ask you about the community support, we were talking with people today, so people are helping people move out and this and that. I mean,
Sure.
speaking to the spirit of the community here, it seems like people try to help
Yeah, you know, along with our elected officials, that's been 24/7 at the Emergency Operations Center since it was activated on this past Friday. Between the elected officials, city and county employees, and firefighters and EMS and the whole staff, there are some volunteers there at the Emergency Operations Center that have stepped up and are helping oversee, being the liaison between the Emergency Operations Center and certain shelters and reporting back. We've had people, we have a list built with trucks and trailers, you know, that we can call. So the community always steps up. I mean, at this point, we've had some work to do. Our real work will start when the water recedes. Moving back and clean up and disinfecting and rebuilding and remodeling, and I expect at that point we'll see a lot more people stepping up, as they always do.
And just to be clear, now that you have the corrected information about Dick's Dam, do you think that the threat to public safety is lesser than you originally thought?
I think we have discovered at this point the impact from that release, planned or not, has impacted it less than they relate to us yesterday with a sense of urgency. It has impacted. It has given us higher totals. But fortunately, I don't think we saw the impact that they relayed to us. Just to be clear, our job at the time was to relay that exact information they gave, and that's why we did it. And, you know, I don't think anybody's going to be, there could be some confusion and upset over the confusion. I think we're all grateful that we didn't get the impact. At the end of the day, that's what we should be grateful for. So.
And then, are you guys taking down the names of people who chose not to leave their homes? Do you know, like?
I don't know about that, and that list could exist at the Emergency Operations Center with that particular group that's responsible for it, but I just don't know that.
And this is still being used as your emergency operations center, and
No, the Emergency Operations Center is operating out of the City Hall. But and City Hall's closed today for normal business and traffic, and there's a lot going on there, so that's why we moved off site here. So,
anything
good.
else?
Thank you.